Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, what's happening today with markets? Well, we got some more data that I'll be sharing with you guys. Economic data. Is it good? Is it not so good? Well, let's see. And also, let's talk about the Fed pivot that is coming, not just in the US, but around the world, and how Bitcoin rally will start soon because of all the pivots. All right, let's talk about all these things and more. Welcome. All right, hold on. The day is starting out, well, kind of mixed. NASDAQ had a huge day yesterday in the US. And today is starting out barely in the red. Dow S&P is still in the green. We did get another piece of economic data, and that is the PPI today, which is wholesale price. And it came in better than expected. Rose 0.2% in August, but if you actually measure, it actually did go down significantly. Okay, which is good, which is not a surprise because yesterday we already got CPI, and CPI showed that inflation was coming down. So of course PPI, which is wholesale price, should be coming down as well, right? So these are all great. That means Powell has no excuse whatsoever. Fed Chair Powell has no excuse to give in terms of, well, inflation is still high, so we need to do this and wait and that. No, I mean, inflation is where we want it, between 2 to 3%, right? So we're going to get that pivot. We're going to start getting the rate cuts. That's what we want. So overall, this is pretty darn good. We also have jobless claims that came out today that showed, unfortunately, people that are out of work has gone up for the week, right? But this tends to go up and down. But ultimately, what this shows is, yes, the economy is definitely slowing down. The labor force is slowing down. Again, giving all the ammunition to Powell to start cutting. Cut, starting next week when we have this FOMC meeting. And we don't know for how many years. We had 3 years of rate hikes, continuous rate hikes, every single FOMC meeting. Are we going to have 2 years of continual cuts every single FOMC meeting? That would be crazy. But we have seen it happen. We have seen the Fed fund rate at zero, near zero. Are we going to go back to that? I guess we'll have to see, right? But the very first one in the first 4 years will be starting next week, right? So that'll be good. And other countries around the world, their central banks are doing the same thing. ECB already started their cuts. You could see today Europe all in the green. Japan also was very, very in the green today, up 3.5%. I did see this. Japan's PPI producer price index showed that inflation is going down. But with Japan, it's just totally different, right? Japan does not have to worry about inflation. They have to worry about deflation. So I don't actually know if this is a good thing for them because they already have their interest rate like near zero. They only hiked it by 25 basis points recently. So I don't know if this is actually scaring them. Because if that starts going down significantly, that's going to cause major problems. So I guess Japan's a little bit different. A little bit different than every other country out there because they're actually looking to raise rates, not cut. Everyone else is cutting at this point. Anyways, so that's what's happening today in a broader sense of view. But bringing it back to Bitcoin, Short-term holders retreat, long-term holders, investors accumulate. I mean, come on, this is not a surprise. We get all the naysayers, all the bears, all the people that panic and blah blah. Hey, they're just, you know, they just don't understand. They come and go, right? You see in the chat all the time people that are new to the channel and they don't quite understand what's going on, and they take their frustrations out. But most of you guys, including myself, of course, we've been in it for so long. We know the right course is just to continue to hold on DC. That's it. There's nothing else you need to do. But this chart shows you exactly that. You can see short-term holder net position. You can see how big of a drop that is, the red, which means the short-term holders, the retail lettuce hands that have just come in, basically all exited. You could see when we were going up to 73,000, that green spike, that's when FOMO hit. A lot of retail came in, and now they're all leaving, right? But the leaving is good because it's actually a sign of a turnaround, right? It's a bottom point, a capitulation point, and that's usually when we start going back above once again. So no surprise, but just wanted to let you guys know. Also, Tether. A lot of talks about stable coins recently. Tether Supply is all-time high. Stablecoin supply in total and cumulative is all-time high right now, right? But here's an important difference in Tether and everything else right now. Tether made $6.2 billion in profits last month. Or last year. Now, if it was last month, it'd be crazy. Last year. This is the reason why, like Ripple and others want to create a stablecoin, because they want some of the juicy profits. So good for Tether. However, why is this good for Bitcoin? Because Tether takes 15% of their profits and buys Bitcoin with it. So if you do the math, that's a significant amount. That's like close to what? That's hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions of worth of Bitcoin being bought in a single year. So as Tether gets bigger, they're going to buy more and more Bitcoin. In fact, they're competing with BlackRock in terms of, and MicroStrategy in terms of accumulation, which is good, which is really, really good, right? I just want to share that off the bat because I don't think a lot of people realize that Tether implement this new strategy where they're buying Bitcoin with their profits, right? And they're using that to back Tether. Now, once upon a time, a lot of you guys that are old school, you know that Tether has not always been like this. There were always a lot of FUD around Tether and whether or not they had the funds to back what they minted, and they were being sued left and right. But despite all of that, despite everything, they are now powerhouse in this space, making billions of profit per year and buying hundreds of millions of Bitcoin per year. They have certainly turned themselves around and changed their tune. All right, what else is there? CleanSpark, one of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there, is spending $27.5 million to boost their Bitcoin mining. Well, that's okay. They're buying 7 Bitcoin mining sites in Tennessee. I didn't even know Tennessee had Bitcoin mining sites, but that's what they're doing. But you know what? They, along with Mara, not only are they securing the Bitcoin network, they're all growing and making the network stronger. And that's why hash rate and difficulty are all-time high right now, because they are ramping up their operations. But more importantly, you know, they are also accumulating. They are basically keeping what they mine, and they're starting to buy more. We know Mara just recently, raised $300 million and bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin. Right now they have about 26,000. Riot, HUD 8, number 2 and 3, 10,000. And then you got CleanSpark. That's right around 7,500. So these would be considered like the big four, right? Even though if you look at like Hive and Cypher, Bitfarms, and everything else, I mean, they have thousands, which is still significant. But if you look at these four, they are definitely the big four with Mara leading the way, right? But if you add them together, that's like close to 60, 70,000 Bitcoins right there. So again, you know, when it comes to supply and demand, the supply is being gobbled up not only by the miners, by MicroStrategy, by the ETFs like BlackRock, right? Institutions and funds and everyone else in between, and of course long-term investors. We're all fighting for this tiny share of Bitcoin that's left. And there's just not that much to go around. And as demand keeps going up and up and up, this is why the price is going to be driven higher. It's just really that simple. All right, what else is there? Last few things. MACD bullish crossover. That's always bullish. It's on a daily chart. You can see that MACD flipped from deep red to green. We have a crossover. That's always good. Short term, can we see that bump up? Yes, especially with all the macro stuff that's going on and the Fed pivot and everything else. Definitely. But long term, this is where we are. Again, when you overlay our current trajectory with previous cycles, you'll notice that we are exactly where we're supposed to. We were ahead of the game in March and April. We have come down from there, but if you look at where Bitcoin is right now versus previous cycles, we're exactly where we should be. And the fun starts in October. October is the most bullish month for Bitcoin, and you can see the prior two cycles. When did Bitcoin start going up? October. And we are few weeks away from October, but we're only 1 week away from that very first rate cut. So can we start the rally next week, right after the pivot? Quite possibly, quite possibly. But there are a lot more juicy gains coming. This is why we're in the game, why long-term holders continue to accumulate. It's really that simple. This is a good chart. I should bookmark this so I could use this as an example later on. All right. What else is there? Yesterday I noted that Sui was pumping like crazy. And I didn't know why, but this explains it. Grayscale added a Sui Trust. Whenever Grayscale adds a trust, it tends to pump things, right? But here's the thing. Grayscale's model is, let's get a whole bunch of trusts and then convert them to ETFs. And that's when the outflow starts. So I don't know if it's actually a good thing or not, but you know, I would just say for now, yes, because I don't see a Sui ETF coming out in the near future. But that explains why Sui went up. But overall, Sui is a nice chain, great ecosystem, and they are still growing by leaps and bounds right now. And then lastly, I saw this. Coinbase is launching their own cbBTC, and they're doing this because they want a wrap version of their Bitcoin that's backed by the Bitcoin that they hold on top of the base chain, and you could use this within ETH as well. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. TradingView is not getting a price feed from Coinbase. So in case you guys are still looking at the price from Coinbase, you're like, oh, why is it not moving? There's something wrong with either TradingView or Coinbase's price feed, but I'm using Binance right now. Bitcoin is still at 57.7 right now. Overall market is swinging to green, I think. Nvidia's up, MicroStrategy's up, Coinbase is up. So tech is looking good right now. Let's see how the rest of the day goes. Wall Street's go try to digest this PPI. Just like it tried to digest CPI yesterday. It didn't know it was good and it went down, and then Nvidia came back and everything turned in green. I think that is what's happening right now. Wall Street trying to digest, hey, is this a good thing or not? All right, let's do some Q&A. I see a lot of people saying XRP Trust by Grayscale. Did Grayscale also come out with XRP Trust? Because I honestly did not see that. If they did, oh, they did 43 minutes ago. This is the reason why XRP is up too, 7%. But they're still below 60 cents. They can't break and hold above 60 cents. That's the problem with XRP. But to celebrate this monumental occasion, let's take a look at this educational video.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.
Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about XRP with that. Get those chicks to fight IFC. It's been quite some time since they filmed that education video. 6 years have passed. Roman, what do you think VeChain will do this cycle? You know what? I don't want to say anything bad about VeChain because I've been supporting them for a long time, but I do wish Sunny would get out of this path of just concentrating solely on renewable, like green efforts, right? Like cleaning up garbage and stuff like that. It's a noble cause, yes, but there are a lot more things that VeChain could be working on in terms of the retail side. Business side, I know they got that covered, but retail side. Building out DeFi infrastructure, DePIN infrastructure, building out its gaming infrastructure or anything, AI, things that are hot right now, things that people care about, building out more stable coins, getting a native USDT on there, things like this that other chains have that VeChain, I don't know if they're working on or maybe they're not concentrating on. But right now, all I see is them trying to push this better campaign where it's just like helping to clean up the earth by picking up garbage and stuff. Which again it's a noble cause. It's great to clean up the earth, but that's not what people in crypto primarily care about. That's what VeChain needs to fix. With Fed reducing interest rates, do you think RWA asset coins like Ondo will struggle during altcoin season? No, I think Ondo and what's the other one? Goldfinch. Similar ones that are tokenizing like bonds and yields and stuff. I mean, they're always going to have their place, I guess. I don't know if they're really going to struggle. Maybe. You might be right, because as the FOMO hits and as memes get hot again and a lot of these projects get hot, maybe gaming gets hot, people tend to gravitate to to those niches or categories. Ondo, I've never liked Ondo. I realize it did. The price has done well. The price action has done well, but I don't care about a project that's tokenizing treasury bond yields. Like, that's not exciting to me. Market turned a little green, a little red today, I should say. Xbox to cut 650 jobs from his Xbox game unit. Yesterday we went deep, deep, deep into red, and then Nvidia turned the entire market around and went up 8% yesterday. So I don't know. Yesterday was a weird day, in a good way. Let's see if today will be the same. Top 3 DEXs: Eduardo, Jupiter, Uniswap. That's really it. I don't really use anything else. Just those two. What do you hear about HBAR? Still a good project? I don't hear anything about HBAR. The only thing I know is Karate Combat is on top of HBAR, and they are by far the biggest volume generator for HBAR. But outside of that, they enabled a lot of stuff. They enabled smart contract, they enabled tokenization and all this stuff, but I don't hear anyone build on top of HBAR. I don't know of anyone really. I don't even know the biggest DEX on HBAR. I don't know of any games on HBAR. I don't know anything. They got Karate Combat. That's their trophy DApp. And I love Karate Combat, I love IFC, but I don't know of anything else on top of Hedera, honestly. Is Pepe done? No, Pepe's not done. Pepe's only getting started. HBAR, despite what I said, HBAR is still doing very good. 1.8 billion. Let's see if they have anything going on during Token 2049. I'll try to find out, but I know for sure it's really Karate Combat at this point. Trending crypto, dogs to the sun, Bitcoin and AI companions. Someone asked about Pepe. Pepe is still 3 billion. Can they do a 10x, 20x like Doge did in 2021? It's possible. You know what's amazing about Pepe is I didn't think Pepe could do this well simply because they're not even on Coinbase. Right? Like, imagine if they were on Coinbase. How much more FOMO there would be. But they're not even on Coinbase yet. That's the crazy thing. Joe Stringer, are you more bullish on Nvidia or Solana? I'm equally, but I have a lot more money on Solana than Nvidia for sure. But I'm equally bullish. I think the upside to Nvidia is much more limited versus Solana for sure. Can Nvidia do a 10x from here? It's hard to see that happen. That would make them a $30 trillion company. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But can I see a 10x with Solana and $1,300? Yeah, probably by the end of next year. So that's how I'm looking at it. Can you rate my portfolio? Phantom Render, Copy, Injective. It's okay. It's not bad. Nothing wrong with that. Philip, what about Avalanche? I'm a newbie and follow all your videos. Well, if you follow all my videos, you know I'm pretty bullish on Avalanche. Joe Lamas, you talked about rebalancing your DCA portfolio last night. When do you think a good time to do that is in general? Early 25. It's never a bad time, right? Just remember, in a bull run, everything goes up, but you want to generally bet on the fastest horses, right? The fastest horses will outperform everything else, even though everyone wins. That's how I look at it. And you could spot trends, not just from price action perspective. You could spot trends like which chains are hot, what's happening on these chains. You could see the volume and so forth, right? Like a lot of people saw Ton was getting popular. A lot of people saw those clicky games get popular, and that's why Ton has done so well, right? And you could see it with Solana, obviously. All the meme craze is still on top of it. All the dApps are on top of it. I mean, if they flip Ethereum, which I still think they will, it's not going to be really a surprise because you could see that already. But you could also see the opposite. You could see a lot of these ghost chains that have very high market caps, but they don't have anything. Like, you just never hear about them. You don't hear about any users, any games, any dApps, anything on top of them. So, of course, if they start lagging, it's not going to be a surprise, right? But my point is, it's never too late or too early to start converting if you spot those trends. Now, if you're blindly just trading week to week because you're thinking you're going to catch the next wave, you're probably going to lose out. You're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. But if you've been spotting the trends and following them for a while, and you can clearly see momentum shifting, say, from one chain to another, then why would you not make the change, right? Now, my DCA portfolio, it is a sample one, but still, I treat it as it's a real one. I haven't made a lot of changes on purpose because I don't want people to think that I'm constantly flip-flopping and so forth. It's supposed to be long-term. And I've made a few changes in the past, just a few. But I do think, had I made more changes over the last few years, it probably would be in a better spot. But you know what? It is what it is. It's still doing fine. It's going to continue to grow. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. Solana already flipped BNB. It's just a matter of time. It's go flip BNB, it's go flip Tether, and it's go flip Ethereum. By the end of this cycle, you guys will see. Solana will be at number 2. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I completely missed a ton train. Like, I did not see it. I did not see those games being that popular and causing the not coin craze and then hamster combat craze and now whatever dog craze. Like, Ton, I've always said I didn't trust Ton's movement. They were like too fast, too quick, right? But you know, sometimes it is what it is. Every cycle you see these new chains become big dominant powerhouses, and there's a reason for it. Do you ever get into motorcycles? No, never, never. I'm not a motorcycle guy. I can't. I just have no interest, honestly. I have no interest in it. Yeah, and it is very dangerous. My brother-in-law, Steve, who's on drivers only, he got in a very bad motorcycle accident. He went on a track and he hit like a pothole or something, did a complete flip on top of himself. He blacked out, woke up in the hospital, don't remember what happened, but it could have been 50-50 where he could have died. And I know others, same thing. Like, they flew off their bike in the middle of the street. I mean, bikes are just way more dangerous than cars. And then you see a lot of these guys like cut in and out of traffic in between lanes and stuff. Like, you come across someone that's not paying attention, that's on their phone, they bump into you and stuff. Like, I'm just not into that. As a skydiver, I could say bikes are super sketchy. I don't know what skydiving has to do with bike riding, but can Theta get back to his all-time high? Probably. I'll just say probably. But Theta was so hot in 2021, but they try to go into NFTs. They try to do a lot of things. They try to sign Katy Perry and all this stuff, and nothing ever equated. Their Theta.tv, I don't even know if that's still around. I just, like, all the big initiatives they were pushing in 2021 seems to have died down. I used to work a lot of accidents in my old job. So many horrible motorcycle accidents, not worth the fun. Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to just like ride around in your neighborhood in a Harley or something, that's probably safe. But if you're in a crotch rocket and you're just speeding around every day, commuting in your bike or whatever, like, I think the risk of that is just not worth it. Do you think Base will eventually release a token? I don't think so. It's Coinbase. They're not going to risk coming out with a token that could be seen as a security. They don't want any more scrutiny. Even though they just came out with cbBTC, although they said that it's not available in the US though. Nick says, thanks for being great. Info for my drives to my sales calls. Always looking forward to the streams. Thank you. Thank you for being a fan and watcher. Is Topia undervalued? Has a lot of games coming. What's Topia? Hytopia, a $10 million market cap coin, down 5% today. I have no idea what they are. Crypto Chris, it's funny how you hate on XRP, but none of your bullish projects have reached top 10. Are you serious? What about Solana? Solana's above XRP, isn't it? Chris, I don't even know. I don't even hate on XRP. And if you love it so much, why do you care if I like XRP? You know there are just like dedicated influencers that only talk about XRP and has been fooling them for years in terms of, yeah, XRP's go to $589, whatever, right? It can't. I'm not even objectively really hating XRP, but people just need to realize that it is what it is. Ripple sells XRP as its business model. Ripple's going to come out their own stable coin. Ripple's going to do an IPO. And those things are going to take away from XRP, from its utility. So now that the SEC is not on their back, which is great, they can fly, right? But XRP has not seen its previous high since 2018, and it's not even close. 2021's rise wasn't even close to their 2018 high. So what makes you think that XRP is going to be different this cycle? XRP Ledger also is a mess. They're trying to add smart contracts to it. That means right now there's almost no DeFi activity whatsoever. So consumer-based stuff doesn't exist. There's like no games on top of it. There's no bridges. There's no a lot of things. So fundamentally, XRP is just not in a strong position. This is not about hate. I did say really good things about Ripple when they were fighting the SEC. And, you know, it's because of their business model that they accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars and they were able to fight the SEC, and they've done a lot for the crypto community. I've said that. I've been on record saying that for many, many, many years, right? But as a business model, XRP just doesn't make sense. XRP should have been a stablecoin, but they came out before stablecoins existed. But that's just how it is. Any leverage plays. I've been just adding like everything I have, you know, been adding slowly to my leverage plays, even though I'm going to fully admit that probably since March till now, I've lost way more due to liquidations that I've ever made in this time. So the, you know, leverage to me is a complete gamble still. It keeps things interesting. You can make loads of money if you catch the right move, but you could lose it all instantly. So you just got to be very careful with it. Small leverage, set some stop losses, be prepared to add margin, and if you're in a position to play it, then great. If you're not, don't risk it. Just stick with DCing. That's it. Holding DCing. Jamie, I appreciate that. Clean. Got stuck in a meeting this morning. Better late than never. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that there are people. It's humbling. You know, people don't realize this, but it is humbling to meet some of you guys in real life at an event or wherever, at Costco or wherever, And for professionals like yourselves, because most of you guys watching is, you're in the age group where you're well established, you're a professional, and you're still watching me for continued education on Bitcoin and crypto. I'm just a guy on YouTube. That's it. I try to remind myself that. But I've met like heart surgeons and business owners and VCs and whoever that have done very well for themselves, and they still say, "Hey, you were one of the first ones I've watched. You helped me get through the negative times and so forth. You helped me hodl." It's pretty humbling. It's good and it's humbling, right? How many side chicks? Hey, my wife might be watching. The answer is 0. 0. Nick says, would you say having 20K in a portfolio at age 27 is a pretty good start? It's a really good start. I didn't have that when I was 27. I was deep. I was negative 20K in credit card debt. So 20K at 27, I mean, you're still young, but you're not a spring chick anymore, right? So once you hit your 30s, you got to really get your financial investments in order. So you still got like 3 years until you hit 30. So it's never too late. 20K, think about it. By the end of this cycle, that 20K portfolio could turn easily into 100, 150, 200K. And then you wait 4 more years for the next cycle, you could be a millionaire in your early 30s. I truly mean that. I'm not trying to blow smoke. Like, that is a reality. That's why, crypto is by far the fastest horse in the race. People just don't realize that. It's by far the fastest horse in the race. So the earlier you get in, the more you go benefit from it. Serge, I appreciate you, man. You make the chat fun. Did I change my mind about Litecoin? No. I'm not gonna talk shit on Litecoin anymore, but I'll just say this. There is no reason why. If you're investing, again, you're investing to make money. There is no compelling reason for anyone to hold Litecoin over Bitcoin. Bitcoin has outperformed it. Bitcoin has the newer innovations on top of it. Bitcoin is the one that has ETFs, and it's bigger and stronger and more accepted and more used. And there is not one thing you could say about Litecoin that makes it a more compelling investment compared to Bitcoin. None. You could say, well, it's 4 times faster, but that doesn't matter when it comes to people that are buying and holding it. BlackRock holds $20 billion worth of Bitcoin. How much do they hold of Litecoin? 0. So there's no compelling reason to hold Litecoin over Bitcoin. That's the honest reality. Charlie Lee himself said he built Litecoin as a testbed for Bitcoin. Charlie Lee likes Bitcoin more than his own Litecoin. So why would you hold Litecoin? You hold Bitcoin. Litecoin could be cheap and fast, but has it out appreciated Bitcoin in the last 2 years, 4 years, 10 years? The answer is no. So what makes you think that this cycle is going to be any different? In fact, Litecoin is dropping. It's at number 20 now. It used to be in the top 10. In the last cycle, I think it was still top 10. Now it's top 20. Soon it's going to be top 40. So who cares if it's faster? Does it make you more money than Bitcoin? The answer is no. So why would you hold it? Hey, if you want to transfer something, go ahead. Use Litecoin to transfer, although no one does that now. You could transfer with USDT on top of BSC or even Tron Network, even though I don't recommend it. Way faster, way cheaper than transferring on Litecoin. So that doesn't even make sense as an argument. All right, guys. Hey, we're going up. 58.2. The market's turning around. What did I say? I said this like 10 minutes ago, right? Yesterday, we saw the same thing. We saw Wall Street confused about the inflation data, and then it went deep in the red, and then it turned into green, right? And that's what we're seeing right now. NVIDIA up, MicroStrategy up, Coinbase up, and Bitcoin is up. Today could be a very good day. The Fed pivot is coming. Fed pivot rally may be starting. May have started already since yesterday. All right, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy today. I'll see you guys tonight. It'll be my last stream for quite some time. So make sure you tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, and I will leave you guys with this note.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.